now we were asking about the national composition, and the other big issue that this nation is facing is in the area of remaking the preschool education. I know you have touched a little bit on that, but I would like to invite you to share more specifically. If you have a chance to look at providing fun, learning, helping our little children to be curious about the world and to be adventurous in creating new things, as they grow up, what would you do? Because at this point of time, we are asking ourselves, how should we really educate our young children? And because we know that how they are trained at that age is going to impact how Singapore becomes. So,
and it does. The solution to the education system for the very young child is, it's an open and obvious solution. I mean, just imagine, you have a child. How do you want to help that child flourish? You help that child develop all its intelligences. You allow it to play. You allow it to be creative. You allow it to be organized. You allow it, you encourage it to think analytically, to think strategically, to think socially. And you watch a young child. It loves social intelligence. It goes into the playground and it's showing you all these things and telling you about mummy and daddy and talking about his cat pet and so on and so forth. So they naturally do everything that they should do. It's what the baby does. So what we do and should do now is to allow that babyness to develop, to become more baby, more curious, to learn more, to contact more people, to play with food and become a chef, to listen, to sing, to talk, all those things. And one of my heroines in my own life was Maria Montessori. Maria Montessori, absolutely brilliant lady who developed all kinds of her own intelligences and suddenly realized that children were being taught in kind of rigid, linear, only verbal, non-movement, non-physical, non-sensual, and she started the Montessori school. And we build on that, and you add to Montessorian ideas the idea of teaching the child about its cognitive skills, about recall, about how to put information in, retention, and how to recall it, how to hook it out, how to get it out. Because many people have got it in there, but they can't get it out. And they sit in exams. They know that they know the answer, but they can't get it out. So we teach them how to do that, how to generate ideas, how to mind map, how to use the eye-brain system, how to read at any speed or range, how to study. People are still frightened of books. They should be eating them for breakfast. So the solution is, it's manifest, it's there. Everybody knows it. Every parent wants it. And that's what the nation has to do. Singapore simply has to infuse it with even more energy, because Singapore is already doing it. And the point you raised earlier, which I'll deal with now, and that is Singapore creative? And China similarly considers, are we creative? And both nations feel that they're not creative. And one of the reasons they're not creative, they believe, is that they copy. They copy other people, and therefore they're not creative. And they are wrong. They are creative. The giant creative genius learns first by copying, by looking, by listening.
That's right.
The other geniuses, and they copy that artist, they copy that musician, they copy that engineer. They emulate And then they copy, as do little birds, as do little animals. They always copy the best. And after a very short period of time, having copied, they then think, like little birds, for example, will always copy the master singer. And but once they copy it, within a few minutes, they keep copying it, and then they think, well, that's a bit boring.
Improvised.
Improvise. So I will copy, and then I'll develop. Then I'll improvise. And Singapore does do that. It looks around and copies, and then develops. It's tremendously creative. I've been in the Gulf,
Right.
and the Arabic nations, when they are talking about their own developments, which city do you think they're looking at when they're trying to build a new city? Where do they go? Singapore.
Yes.
Why do they go to Singapore? Because they want to see a magnificent city,
That's
the
right.
development of the citizenry,
That's
the
right.
development of the brain, capital. So people are copying Singapore. Are they creative when they're copying Singapore? Yes, they
Yes.
are. Because they then copy Singapore and try to improve on that, develop this, originate that,
Right.
etc. So Singapore is in a very good situation. And this conversation is like a furnace of energy and idea. It's like the self-generation of a star. And Singapore is like that.
Thank you, Tony.
And this conversation
Yep.
is part of this conversation.
That's right. Thank you.